what can be done from a spiritual viewpoint, and also a bit practically what can be done to deal with these uncertain times. And then you might have a question, and we can have some 5 or 10 minutes question. Then I would like to do a meditation with you all together. Is that right? Okay. All right. So first, let's go and okay. Sonia, just make one click. Okay, that's it. All right. Okay. So Sonia and myself, we have been recently at the Stockholm Plus 50 conference. Did you hear about that conference? It was just about a week ago, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago in Stockholm, and it was in commemoration of the first environment conference, which was organized in Sweden, in Stockholm, and was organized by Olof Palme. And Indira Gandhi was the only prime minister from foreign countries which came in person. And that was 1972. And this time, this conference was opened by the Prime Minister of Sweden and also by the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres. And I think the king was also there, the king, and the princess was also there. It was quite a VIP gathering, and quite interestingly, the motto of the first conference, Stockholm Plus 50, was to identify the urgent issues concerning the climate and the environment, address them, and find a solution. And 50 years later, we come to the point that a solution to our climate crisis and all this has not yet been found. And so there was actually quite a bit of sad undertone when they all gave the speeches, how the environment has degenerated and what is going on. It was quite interesting for us, and we had a couple of programs there, especially with interfaith gatherings, and we did one program in the cathedral, no? The church of Stockholm, the Cathedral of Stockholm, and had also 2 programs in the center where we sort of teamed up with other religions, with Christians and so on, other faith groups, and I think some from so just to give you an idea how the current situation of climate change is actually happening. You can see this is the very latest graph, which I just got ago. It shows the temperature change.
There's a terrible noise from Robert.
And, especially
can you mute
the Arctic
this?
Circle. You can see here that the global average warming is around 0.32. The global temperature average increase is 0.32 at the moment every 10 years. But in the Arctic Circle, the average temperature increase is 0.86 every 10 years, so almost 1 degree. And even here, number 6, which is here, the temperature increase was 2.5 degrees in 10 years. And that's why Scandinavia, Norway, and Sweden and Finland and also Denmark will be massively affected by the coming up climate change. About a month ago, there was an article in The Guardian, and they mentioned some freak temperatures in Arctic and Antarctic. And in the Arctic, in the North Pole, the temperature was 30 degrees above average. And in the Antarctic, the temperature was 35 degrees above average. It should have been -20, and it was +10 for just 1 or 2 days. But that just shows you how crazy the weather behaves right now. So this is quite a sad news, because climate change is now coming in full force, and all our life will be affected wherever we are. Sonia, can you click once the No, one more time on the picture. Yeah. So, and the reason why this all is happening, you can see here. This is a slide about the tipping points in climate, and this was first identified about 5-6 years ago by Potsdam Climate Institute, and it shows the 12 major tipping points in our climate. And you can see in blue are the ice shields. For example, the Arctic sea ice, Greenland, West Arctic, and East Arctic, and also the permafrost here. And this ice is melting at a high speed right now. And science already told us that the summer ice in the Arctic cannot be saved any longer. In a couple of years, the Arctic will be completely ice-free in summer. And you might have heard this winter or last summer, the first time a normal ship used the North Passage to Asia. So the shipping companies are happy, but for the Arctic ice, that's very bad news. So these are melting, and this is one of the tipping points in climate, because once that ice is gone, normally the sunlight will be reflected by the white ice shield and goes out. Now it will fall on blue seawater, and it will increase the temperature even furthermore. So there's a loop effect, a self-supporting effect. We have in red the El Nino, we have the thermo-Atlantic circulation here, we have the African monsoon, the Indian monsoon, and also here the monsoon in Southwest North America. And what we can see is that these big systems are showing signs of changes. For example, they found out that the Atlantic circulation has weakened already by 15%. And this circulation brings warm water to Europe. It's responsible that we don't freeze too much and it doesn't get too cold in winter. And we have a moderate climate. So this circulation is responsible that we can grow our wheat and have our food and our harvest and everything. This has weakened. The Indian summer monsoon is also no more good. And in India, in the last couple of years, the precipitation, the rains have diminished or decreased. Every year, a little less, a little less, a little less. And this year, for example, in India, the spring was so hot, was the hottest on record, and the harvest, the wheat harvest, has been 30% reduced, which is very serious because India is the second largest wheat producer in the world, and India stopped all the exports to African countries, to South America, and so on. And that's where the wheat is missing now. And so we are heading for a very critical situation now this year with the wheat supply for the whole world population. So these circulation patterns show all signs of changes. And then we have the biosphere component. These are especially the forests in Siberia and Russia and in Sweden and Finland. And we have the forests in Canada. And these forests all show big problems of drought and forest fires. So they're changing also. You might have heard of mega fires. So now we have in these regions huge fires and the forest just burns away. And I was just in Sweden, and huge areas in Sweden they have to cut now because the Christmas tree is no more surviving the less rains, which are also in Sweden. So we can see, and of course, Amazon rainforest, you might heard that the cutting of the rainforest is going on a very high speed. So all in all, this is a very difficult situation because out of 12 tipping points, 8 already show signs of changing. And on top of it, we have the jet streams. The jet streams are the winds which are circulating around the globe. And usually there are about 8 of these jet streams around the globe. One is at the equator, one is here, and one is circulating also around the North and the South Pole. And these jet streams, they show signs of changes. So they change now the location. They are usually a bit curved. So now suddenly the curvature is much more. And that's why sometimes we get a drought and no change of weather for 1 month or 2 months, because the jet streams, they are locking. So this is all what science has found out, and this change is going on, and this change is accelerating. It's quite dramatic. So we are in a very interesting time span. So what we can say is that we have a crisis of civilization and of our planet, because it's not only a planetary crisis of the environment and nature, we have also the crisis of humanity, which is interconnected. I saw some days ago a documentary on the disappearance of the thrive of the Roman Empire, and then how the Roman Empire disappeared. And quite interestingly, science found out that when Roman Empire came up, they had a climate optimum. They had a lot of food and it was good rains in the Mediterranean. So Roman Empire thrived, and they organized everything very well. They got then the grain from Egypt, they produced wine, exported it here and there. And for a couple of 100 years, they had this climate optimum. And the science is telling that one of the reasons for the disappearance of the Roman Empire was changing climate. This climate optimum changed. There were less rains in the Mediterranean. So at the end, the scientist says, well, we humans are very close connected to the weather patterns, to the harvest and everything what is going on the planet. And right now, in a big way, we're changing all this pattern. So what happened is we have a triple planetary crisis right now. We have climate change, loss of biodiversity, and air pollution. You might know I'm a lot in India. And in India, out of 20 most polluted cities in the world, 14 are in India. And New Delhi is the most polluted city in the world, and 50% of the population in the city, they have chronic bronchitis. So we are all very lucky. You're all very lucky. You come from India?
Nepal, near India. Near India.
Near India. Nepal. Good. Nepal has good air. And you come from?
Nepal, both.
Nepal, both. Okay. Nepal is Bordacha. Still good air. But in North India, it is very, very, very difficult. And a lot of people get sick and have problems. And we have air pollution, but we have also plastic pollution. Then we have loss of biodiversity. Because of climate change already, trees are disappearing, species are disappearing. So it's quite dramatic what's happening already. And of course, we have the climate change. So, and one other problem we are facing is the planetary boundaries. So in science, they tell us, okay, we'll find a technology and we'll fix all the problems. Like, for example, we convert all the cars to battery. But, you know, it's not possible because there's not enough raw materials for the batteries. You know, lithium, for example. So you might know that all the prices are going up. And one of the reasons is we are following an economic model which propagates unlimited growth. So it means we have to grow, we have to grow, we have to grow, but we live on a planet with limited resources. So in many areas, we're touching the boundaries of these resources, like, for example, copper, lithium, firewood, fresh air, fresh water. So there are a lot of boundaries on our planet which actually govern life and the possibilities. And in many areas, we're touching these boundaries. In some areas, we've already crossed that boundaries. At the moment, we're using the resources of 1.7 planets per year. Can you imagine? We are using the resources of 1.7 planets per year. So we are taking so much from planet Earth, it cannot replenish, and it will be difficult for future generations because we're just taking everything now. We're taking too much. We have to come down to taking the resources of one planet Earth per year. So we're overstretching the planetary boundary. On top of all this, now we have conflicts. And some of the conflicts are connected already to climate change. A lot of people are leaving in Africa, their countries, because there's not enough food. There's local wars are going on. The situation has become very unstable, and they come to Europe. You may know that hundreds of thousands of people, they try to cross the Mediterranean every year. And I think 20,000, 30,000, they die every year whilst they try to cross the Mediterranean, you know, on small boats. So it's a very dramatic situation already going on. And you all know we have this big conflict nearby between between Russia and Ukraine, and all the resources which were in Germany, all the resources, the money which was supposed to go into climate protection is now going into the army. And when we were in Stockholm at the conference, there was a big exercise going on, and 40 warships were in the harbor in Stockholm, including one American aircraft carrier, was the biggest ship ever to go into Stockholm harbor. And you come into the harbor and you see this 320-meter long aircraft carrier and 2 frigates, a submarine, and so many other military craft. And it's like, was an unbelievable sight. So we're in a very dramatic situation because even the money and resources which are there supposed to go into climate protection are going now into conflict. And on top of this all, because of all this, we have economic crisis. We have, you all noticed the prices have gone up in Denmark also, food prices. Have they gone up? Yes, a lot. And energy prices? Electricity and fuel also at the petrol station. Huh? Yeah. In Germany now they try to subsidize. In India they're trying to subsidize. One gas cylinder in India is now 1,000 rupees. So that's a bit the magical number. So the government gives 200 rupees, goes back to 800 because it got too costly. But how long we can subsidize? You know, how long we can use this money and divert it and subsidize the prices? This is also a question which is there. So we have an economic crisis. So all this is a crisis of civilization and of our planet, both. So it's quite a big thing, and it's coming like a tsunami to us. And we're 10 years now in climate conferences following the negotiations. You might remember 10 years, 12 years ago was the conference in Copenhagen. You remember the climate conference? Yeah. And we had a lot of hope and enthusiasm that, and politicians told us, we'll take some money, we'll take some technology and some strategy, and we fix the problem. They told us 12 years ago, and we all thought, yes, we'll fix the problem. And since then, it's only became more. We have just been recently also in Glasgow at the COP, at the United Nations Climate Conference. And unfortunately, a lot of paper has been produced, but you know, so we see the situation is dramatic, but I now see a lot of serious faces. Now we come to the positive part. What can we do? And what does the crisis actually mean to us? And crisis, you know, one says in spiritual terms, a crisis is always a chance. No? You know, if you have a personal crisis in your life, it's always a chance for change. You have a sickness, or there's a relation, in relation there's a crisis, or something is going on. You always start thinking, oh, hang on, am I on the right path? Should I change something? So all these problems we can see in the world right now, these are all signals to us, signals to humanity. These are alarm bells. They say, hello, humanity, your lifestyle is not correct. Hello, humanity, your economic model is not correct. Hello, humanity, your inner mindset is not correct. These are all alarm bells which tell us change, change. And so there is transformation and change in the air. Do you feel something is moving right now? Some big things are moving and shifting. Can you feel that? I mean, it's connected to a lot of anxiety and worries, but you can feel something is shifting. No? Can you feel it? Like the ground is shifting. Things which have been certain and sure for a long, long time, suddenly they're no more sure. You know, then, and you know, so things are like, ooh, what's going on? So this is crisis as chance. And what is the first thing when you do a coaching in a company and there's a problem in the company? What's the first thing what the coach tells you what you have to do? Anybody has an idea? What's the first thing the coach tells you about your mindset, what you have to do? Sonia, don't say it because you have seen this presentation so many times.
You have to change your mindset.
You have to change, and what is, and how, and where you have to stay, in what type of mindset you have to stay in?
Positive.
Yes, you have to stay positive and optimistic. So now we're changing the narrative of this presentation. I've shown you where we are right now in a real crisis scenario. Now we flip to being optimistic. And you know, here we have two optimists. You know, number one optimist is the monkey. You know, monkey believes, hang on, I can catch the elephant, no problem. You know, little monkey thinks I can catch big elephant. And big elephant is already in the air and jumps and believes little monkey can hold me, you know. So these are two big optimists, and that's how we also should stay optimistic and positive, because every coach, every trainer, everybody will tell you, if you stay in an optimistic, even a doctor says, if you have a disease or something, he says, hang on, stay optimistic and positive, regardless what happens. Can we try to do that? Stay optimistic despite all this news which are there? Okay. So now let us talk a little bit about the methods and the spiritual approach which we can adopt and apply to stay optimistic and powerful on the inside and really stay in a positive mindset regardless what is going on in the world. So how to change the trend? And there are a couple of points which came to my mind. First, and very important, become an angel and become a healer. So you know what's the specialty of an angel? Any idea what's the specialty of an angel?
Share the message. Share the message.
Pardon?
Share the message.
Share the message, yes. Any more idea? The angel can fly. He's above the ground. He's very powerful. He's close to God. And he can fix problems. No? That's it. He can fix problems. You like to become an angel? Who likes to become an angel? I like to become an angel. It's very good. Farishta in India. It's very good. Come on. Areva. So we all can become angels. It's very, very important, because if we become angels, we deal with ourselves and we become a healer. We start healing ourselves and then we start healing others. So now, next point is raise awareness and consciousness. We have to inform people what's going on and how you can bring change. It's very important. Then we have to change our lifestyle. You see, the problems in climate change are because of the emissions of the past, of the carbon emissions of the past. And you know what? 80% of these emissions, they come from us. They come from the developed West. So that's why it's such a tricky topic, because climate change is, we are to a great extent responsible for that. We in the West, we're responsible for climate change. It's not India, it's not China. You know, in the West, an average person produces around 15 to 20 tons of CO2 per year. Depends a bit on your how often you fly, how much you drive, how many things you buy. Some people maybe 12 to 20 tons per year is your production of CO2 in the West. An Indian average produces 2 tons per year of CO2. And actually, we in the West, we have to come down. It's not the Indian which should produce for that. It's not the Chinese. The Chinese is maybe at 4 tons. It's the West who has to come down. We're still shopping too much, consuming too much, taking too much energy, driving too much around. We have a life in energy luxury right now. So, yes, mobiles also, we have to switch off so we save energy. So, drastic change in lifestyle and reduction of carbon footprint. That's what's in the pipeline for us. And of course, use of renewable energy sources. All right. So I will go now point to point through all these things and explain a little bit how to become an angel, how to change awareness and consciousness, and so on. All right. So first of all, how to heal yourself and how to heal the world. Yeah? Because if I want peace in the world, first I have to become peaceful myself. Am I right? No? I have to change on the inside first. If I want to establish peace in my family, what's the first trick I have to do? I have to become peaceful myself. So it's always I have to do the first step. So let us see, and I would like to introduce to you a very famous yogi. This is Dadi Janki. Some of you might have met her. No? You met her? Okay. And you met her also, maybe? Yeah. So Dadi left us last 2 years ago, 2 years ago now. And she was 103 years old, and she was a very accomplished yogi. I would say she was an illuminated soul, very, very powerful. And Daddy always gave inspiration. She gave strength to everybody. She gave hope to everybody. She was able to project these positive powers. And Daddy had always a message to us. And Daddy said, Sonia, can you put that picture maybe down? My picture? Yeah. And Daddy always said, become a healer and become a helper of God. That was the first thing Daddy was saying. And become close to God and become a helper to God. And okay.
No, I did that.
You did that, yeah, I know that. So become a helper of God, become close to God. And Daddy said, be loving and compassionate. And you know what happened is, if you love yourself, you develop love for yourself. It's very, very important, because you accept yourself. You accept yourself where you are and what is going on, what role you're playing, what job you are having, your relations, your situation, you love your body, everything is all right. And once you accept that on a very deep subconscious level, you start loving the world. And if you love the world, you don't destroy it. That's the big difference. So that's why love is so important, because love is the most powerful healing power in the world, and it's uniting us all. And love ultimately will connect us also to nature and will play a very fundamental role in the transition process of the planet right now. So she says, be loving and compassionate and be a healer for the world. Because if you love yourself and you heal yourself through that love, you can start healing the world through sharing the love with the world. And then she said, become a guide to the light. Inspire other peoples. Share the light, share the power, share the inspiration, share the good actions. No? So this was Daddy's message. Very powerful. And you see this angel holding the world and give blessings to the world. And I was very lucky. I'm with Brahma Kumaris 38 years. And almost every year I met Daddy. And many times I was also the driver for Daddy when she was in Europe. And sometimes I drove her for 2 weeks around Europe tour, going here, going there, going this and that. It was a very beautiful experience with Daddy, and I learned a lot. I could learn a lot. And as per drama, she left us 2 years ago. So, and now you will think, and Daddy's message to all of us was meditate. Daddy said, in order to become an angel, you have to use the method of meditation of yoga. And yoga is an old Sanskrit word and actually means connection, connection with the divine, for self-transformation. So Daddy inspired us for yoga. So you have heard a lot about yoga, and 2 days ago was the International Yoga Day. No? In here, the Indian Embassy organized it, and Brahma Kumaris was part of it, and there was a lot of Hatha yoga, and we could present also Raja yoga. It means the royal yoga, in which you connect yourself to the divine being, to the divine light. And science has done a lot of research about yoga and meditation, what actually happens when you meditate. And they examined yogis over a long period of time, and they did a lot of brain scans, but they also examined their behavior. How are they behaving? What is going on? How is it changing the brain structure and their habits? And they found out something very, very interesting. Number one, it increases your social competence. It means you love yourself, you love others. Very plain, very nice. You become a better person for yourself, but also for others. Number two, it deepens relaxation, improves your health. That you might already have heard that yoga is good for the health. But, and now very interesting, it increases brain cells and activity. You know, when you cross 30 years of age, I think everybody has crossed 30 years here in the audience. If you cross 30 years of age, your brain slowly starts shrinking. That's why you start forgetting things. You learn most of the stuff when you're young, and when you become really old, you don't like really to change because your neuronal flexibility is being reduced. Your brain is not able to perform big changes, and your habits and your awareness is set in a certain framework. But if you meditate, it's very interesting, the neuronal flexibility of your brain is increasing. And they found out that you are able to regrow certain areas and strengthen certain areas of your brain, and you're able to change habits and awareness. This is very important because we all have to change. You like to change something in your life? We all like to become better people, no? Am I right? So meditation is a very powerful tool to bring that change in your consumer pattern, but also in your inner peace, in your laugh, how you deal with other people. Meditation helps to bring that change. So this is the scientific evidence. There's much more scientific evidence about that. And a lot of work has been done in the last 30 years, and science considers yoga to be almost miraculous in its effects. And because of this positive output, we have set up a webpage called Yogis for Future, in which we have collected 150 meditation commentaries. We've uploaded them, and they're for different topics. You can see here these icons, and we will all give you a little blessing card at the end, and we will give you also a little bookmark with a link to this page. We just collected 150 meditation commentaries, how to increase your inner peace, how to increase your inner strength, meditation for the nature, meditation for your friends, meditation for the world, different topic. How to deal with difficult situations, you know. Many of us may be having some difficult situations. So in this Yogi for Future webpage, you will find a lot of very nice 6 minutes, 8 minutes meditation, where you can find whatever you like. And there are, we are also on Twitter, Facebook, on Instagram, and all these things. It's quite a job to set it all up. So, you may say that, okay, if I change and I become a better person, then what does it do with the climate change and all this? Because this is all going on outside there, and this is so big and I'm so small. That's the wrong thinking. It's the opposite way. You are very big and you have an incredible potential. I would like to share with you some experiment in quantum physics. And you might have heard of the double slit experiments. Did you hear about this experiment?
Yeah.
Anybody heard about it? Okay, you heard about it. Okay, so science wanted to find out what's the nature of light. And so they made the experiments, and the question was, is light a particle or is light a wave function? So this was the big question. And the problem, they did these experiments already, I think in 1930 or 40 they started. And they found sometimes this result, light behaves like a particle. And sometimes they found out that light behaves like a wave function. So they were confused why we get sometimes this result and this result, because in science, everything should be always clear. So they changed the setup and this and that, but always the result was changing. And finally, they find out that something is influencing the outcome of the result. Anybody knows it?
It's the observation.
Yes. So when you observe the experiment, light behaves like a particle. And then if you look away, light changes its function, becomes a wave. And this was very difficult for science to accept it. Even Einstein called them the spooky effects, you know, and was not very convinced in the beginning. Later he agreed. So this is actually very difficult for science in the beginning to accept, because what it means is that the mind and the physical reality are interconnected. It's the mind-matter relation. And this is all about quantum science. And since then, there are hundreds of experiments around the world at Yale University, Oxford University, Cambridge University, where they did experiments with the students, how positive mindset can influence your decision-making, how a negative mindset can influence your decision-making, how a positive mindset can influence the outcome of experiments. And they find out that a mind who has an intention is able to influence physical reality. A mind who has an intention is able to influence physical reality. And they proved it beyond doubt. What does it mean? Our mind, our thoughts, our emotions are connected to physical reality. So our thoughts and vision do create the reality. There have been some nice Hollywood films which deal with this kind of idea, you know, that our mind creates and shapes our reality, because all the time I'm watching the physical reality, and by doing so, I'm shaping it. So I would like to show with you some experiments we're doing in India with this effect. It's called the yogic farming, yogic sustainable farming. And what we did is we teamed up with 5,000 farmers in India, and we have a wing, a department in India, it's called the rural wing, and we teach them meditation. So what we did is we teach them meditation in the morning and in the evening, 10 minutes, positive affirmations, positive thoughts towards the seeds and towards the field. Affirmation positive, what's positive? I love you, you're very good, you will grow very fast, no bugs will touch you, no need for fertilizer, stuff like that. And to the soil, you can say you're very good soil, you will keep the moisture very nicely, all these kind of thoughts, no? Just like thoughts. And we teach them this meditation, and we teamed up with a agriculture university in India to monitor the results. And these are the outcome. So here you can see now chemical, these are carrots. Oh, I hope you can see. Then these are chemical carrots. In the middle, these are done with yoga power. And on the right side are the normal one, just normal farming. So you can see yourself that the yogic means with a positive affirmation, the carrots are the biggest. Can you see? And the people also said that they are the most tasty. So I have a question. Are you having plants at home or a garden? You have a plant? Are you talking sometimes to your plants?
I don't either.
Here you are, you know. So talking to your plants is very important because you have an effect on that. Imagine. And the outcome is so strong that here you see a picture about wheat. You see, this is a wheat with meditation and wheat without. You can see the difference. And so what we did is we always used a field and seeds with meditation, and next to it, a field and seeds without meditation. And same water, same condition, everything was the same. No? And it was supervised by students and by professors from an agriculture university. And the results are so good that the Indian Ministry of Agriculture wants to roll it out now, has asked Brahma Kumaris to make a pilot project with many farmers in India and teach them meditation or positive intention. And from the quantum physics experiment, you can see that the mind is connected to physical reality. And there are much, much more examples, not only this one. They've done many experiments with plants where they could find out how plants are reacting to human consciousness. So now imagine all the time we're looking at the world. Sometimes, often our mind is not so peaceful. We're angry, we're upset by something. You know, this is not working, that is happening. And all the time we create energy field around us. And all the time matter, nature, the plants, everything is receiving our intention. So some scientists, they even say, this world outside there exists because we observe it. And it is as it is a mirror of our consciousness and of our intention. Can you imagine that? So powerful we are. Our consciousness is very powerful in shaping the reality outside there. So now I spoke about, so this is all about the power of thoughts, how we are connected with physical reality. And if you change the mindset, your emotions, your feelings, you have an impact in physical reality. Now I want to show you some practical things what we are doing, because I had this in the beginning. So Brahma Kumaris is a recognized solar research center. Since 20 years, we're very, very practical in this field. And we're doing research in all these areas since more than 20 years. And here you can see one of our projects. Brahma Kumaris has more than 5,000 centers in India, meditation centers in India. And more than 1,000, we have equipped them now with solar power. And you can see here our Om Shanti Retreat Center, which is near New Delhi. And we put a 400 kilowatt solar power plant on top. And here's solar steam cooking system. The steam cooking system based on parabolic dishes concentrates the sunlight, and we produce steam and send it to the kitchen. So this is one of our projects. And here you can see one of the first solar cookers, which we built in 1997 in Gyan Sarovar complex. We have been there in Gyan Sarovar, no? So we are cooking with the power of sun, and we're cooking the food. These dishes are concentrating the sunlight onto a receiver. In the receiver is water. The water starts boiling by the concentrated sunlight, and it starts boiling and we generate steam. And these dishes, like sunflowers, they follow the sun morning to evening. And this project was built in 1997, is still running, is still up and running, successful. Every day we cook up to 2,000 meals by the power of sun. And the design is in the internet. You can actually take it. Here you can see a picture of our campus in Shantiban in Abu Road. And you can see here in the corner, just like you see it, you can see the solar steam cooking system with 84 concentrators. And we cook with this system 30,000 meals per day. So that's working also since 1999. And here you can see our photovoltaic. We have meanwhile 200 kilowatt of photovoltaic in our campus, and use the photovoltaic with batteries to provide power to our campus. So we're doing quite a lot with these kind of things. And now I would like to show a project we are doing in India. It's called India One. It's a 1 megawatt solar thermal power station. And it was a 12 million euro project. 50% came from the German government, 25% from the Indian government, and 25% came from Brahma Kumaris. And this was a research project and a flagship project by all these governments. And we involved also some famous research institutes from Germany. And the specialty is it's a 1 megawatt solar power plant, and we can store the energy overnight. And you might know that one of the big problems with solar energy or wind energy is how to store the energy overnight or when the wind is not blowing, because we need the electricity, for example, in the night, and then solar energy is not there. So we need storage. And this is the big problem, because batteries are too costly. You cannot store such large amount of energy in these batteries. So special project, 1 megawatt solar power plant. And we worked for 8 years on the project, and we developed a 60 square meter parabolic dish. This 60 square meter parabolic dish is made out of 600 single parts. And they're made in our own workshop by 200 workers. Each dish has about 1.5 to 2 tons of iron pieces inside, 600 different pieces, curved and all this, 900 glass mirrors, all curved and glued together, and 5 little motors, and follows the sun from morning to evening with computer program. Every dish has a little modem and communicates to the control room if there's a problem. And each dish is focusing the sunlight on the receiver. The receiver is made out of 3 tons of cast iron. We heat up the cast iron to 500 degrees, and we pump water through the cast iron, and steam comes out. And this is the total project from above. And you can see now here the 770 dishes. We have here a turbine. Here's the turbine house. And in the turbine house, we have a 1 megawatt Siemens turbine. So all the steam which is generated there over daytime, all the heat which is generated there, is stored in this 3 tons receiver. And then whenever we need, we're pumping out, we pump from these receivers, then from these receivers, then from these receivers, and slowly over 24 hours, we discharge the receivers. This is all computer program. It's pretty complicated. We have little pumps, and we can discharge, pump the water as per the program, as per the need. And then the steam goes to the receiver, to the turbine, and drives the 1 megawatt turbine. And there's a generator attached, and we produce 11 kilovolt of electricity, and goes here with a line to our Shantivan campus. And we provide 24 hours electricity. And this is a very special project. It's one of the few thermal power stations in the world which has this feature and is functioning. And this project is running since 3 years. And every year we have 15, 20,000, 50,000 visitors coming to the project, seeing it. We do also training seminars, activities. And here you can see we added a 3 megawatt of solar photovoltaic, which we directly give to the grid. And here we have another 200 kilowatt photovoltaic for batteries, where we run all the little pumps and everything. In addition, we started organic farming around the whole property. We planted 3,000 trees. Here we have meanwhile a huge garden. This is all green meanwhile. And we have fruit trees, whatever you can imagine, chuko, bananas, papayas, everything is growing there in abundance. So we try to combine solar project and organic farming. Very interesting project. We started it 3 years ago. It's running successful. Only when there is cloud condition or rainy season, then of course output is a little bit down. Rainy season we shut down because it's too cloudy. If it's really cloudy, it's not working. But the plant is running, and this is one of the examples what we're doing in India. And this project, many of the smaller projects we are giving to our centers. So meanwhile, more than 500 centers in India, or maybe 800 centers in India, they're using solar technology. All the visitors are coming, and we're trying to inspire them also to go solar. So we do also a lot of training and education. You can see here the local workers, our workshop, and we give training seminars for engineers, for scientists, but also for the workers, and we qualify them, we train them, we do seminars on solar technology. So we're very, very active. And right now we're doing 2 research projects with the Indian Institute of Technology. One is on a new type of battery, and the other one is on new type of concentrators. So one is a thermal project, one is a photovoltaic project. So we're trying to practically develop also such clean technologies for the future and share them with everybody. This is what we do practical. So Brahma Kumaris also is very active in the area of raising the awareness. We have set up an environmental initiative, and our Sonia is our secretary, the manager of the green team, as we call ourselves. And since 12 years, we go to the UN climate conference. We're trying to inspire people to change on the inside, to bring a change, to become loving and compassionate. You know, when we came in Copenhagen, they were laughing at us, you know, because they say, what are you yogis? What do you want? We have money, we have technology, we'll fix it. Now these people come to us and say, please teach us meditation, because we're a bit frustrated. We have a burnout because our ideas are not becoming practical. And the trend is in the other direction. So we have an environmental initiative, and we are trying to inspire people to change on the inside, become a peacemaker, a dreamer, creator, and imbibe virtues and ethics. So because if we make the ethics and the virtues strong in us, the values, then our actions become also good and beneficial. So we just have been to, I show some picture. So we advocate also the 5 R's: rethink before you buy, reuse as much as possible, reduce your consumption, reduce temperature, reduce water consumption, travel, this, that, wherever you can do something, bring it down a bit. Recycle as much as possible, and refuse as much as possible. Because you know, when you go in the city, most of the shops, you know, I was just today with a bicycle, I went on the main shopping street. So what are the main shops nowadays when you go shopping? What's the main thing they offer in the shops? Fashion. It's cloth. No? Every year, some new cloth. Buy. So we have to refuse sometimes the fashion trends. And because we have enough things, no? We can refuse a little bit, reduce a little bit consumption. Can you do something out of this? Something is practical. You can think on some aspect in your life. Reduce a bit plastic. Possible? No? Everybody can do something because we have to change. So, and here's a picture from the last climate conference in Glasgow. You can see here our sister Jenti. She's the head. She's now one of the additional heads of Brahma Kumaris, and she's coming with us to the climate conference. And in COP26 in Glasgow, we have been there. It was a bit tough. We had to do everyday corona test, and you can see we have interreligious dialogue, we have stand, exhibition, press conference, and we had around 30 programs inside the climate conference officially and outside the conference for the public and for the audience. And they were all centered around the idea, change on the inside, become loving and compassionate, meditate regular, and create good vibrations and good intentions for the world. And you will create a change in the world. You change your actions, you change the vibration, and will have impact. And interestingly, slowly, people are coming to us and listening to us. And we're teaming up also with other religions. We have an interreligious dialogue. Brahma Kumaris is part of that. We're very active in that field. And so slowly, the message is being heard. And the mindset of people is opening for these ideas. So the new paradigm we have to follow now is my inner world and the outer world are interconnected. Whatever I think, it reflects into the outside. And whatever happened and whatever happens outside is a reflection, is a mirror of our collective consciousness. It's a bit tough message, but that is as it is. That's the spiritual approach. So what you think matters. Look in your thoughts. Everybody has to look in his thoughts. Am I loving? Am I positive? Am I relaxed? I'm not always like that, you know. We had 2 hours. Jamila here, we had 2 hours to test with this internet stuff, you know, and that's my red point, you know, like software days that was not working, then the internet cable was not working, then here was a problem, you know, then the Zoom was not working, then the camera was not working, then the light was too much, then it was not enough, you know. It's quite something, you know, to stay peaceful in this turbulent world. No? So you agree that your thoughts are important? What you think matters. If you're loving and peaceful, people will immediately feel it. They say, oh, he's smiling, he's a very good person. And after some time, they also smile. No? So you have to think positive on yourself, positive on others, and positive on the world. So when you get up in the morning, what we're doing in Brahma Kumaris, we get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We have a morning meditation and we think positive about us. The day will be good. I'm a good person. I will become an angel. I love myself. I love the world. Everything will be all right. These are good thoughts, you know. You can project your thoughts in the future, can project them for yourself, can think positive on your friends, on problems you have in the family, problems you have at work. You can say everything will be all right. And you start healing yourself. And you start dealing with your own inner traumas and weaknesses. And slowly, step by step, in meditation, you start transforming them. Because we have seen the neuronal network in your brain is changing. Your habits are changing. Slowly, it's a process. And slowly, your mindset changes. And from being angry and having worry about future, become loving, compassionate, you become happy, and you rest in the present. So then once we master that, we can think about others, positive, and then we can think about the world. Not so complicated, just a bit exercise. So imagine your perfect world. You remember the nice song from John Lennon? Imagine all the people Living in a world of peace. Da, 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 da. You remember that song? Very nice song. But he sang it 50 years ago now. Huh? Yeah, more than 50 years. 52 years, I think 69 or so it came out, 68. Huh? Imagine our world. So how we would like to imagine our world. I put a couple of points together. Our world. Most important is love. Huh? You agree? Most important is love. I made it fat. Peace and harmony. Beauty. Perfection, purity, bliss, prosperity, happiness, timeless and just. No internet. All right, you agree? No cars. We talk to each other. You know, sometimes the youngsters are sitting in the same room and they chat to each other in WhatsApp. And the other then, oh, bing, you know, it's so funny, you know. You like these points? That's the world, how we would like to become. And that would resolve climate change. It would resolve wars, conflicts, everything it will resolve. And this is actually what's happening right now. We're in a transition period where the old changes into the new. So meditation and the change of thoughts are cooling the mind and create a new reality and a better world. And the good news is in India, we have the concept of a cycle of time. And as per the Indian concept, we're at the moment in, you must know it from Nepal.
Yeah.
Kali Yuga. We're in Kali Yuga. And Kali is the deity which brings up all the karma. You know, she's sitting on riding on a tiger, and she has a sword, and she has the skulls of her enemies around her head. And she's the one which brings up the sins of the past. The karma comes up. Basically, humanity is dealing with the karma of the past. Can you imagine? It's all coming up. That's why it's not so easy to resolve. And the good news in India is, they say after Kali Yuga, the next Sat Yuga will come. And you know, translation of Sat Yuga means the age of truth. The age of truth. And in Christianity, they call it the hell. And what's the opposite to hell? Paradise.
Or paradise.
Paradise, heaven, paradise. And the Greek, they called it Iron Age and Golden Age. That's where the Greek brought it actually from India. They called it Golden, Silver, Copper, and Iron Age. And they said in between is a confluence age, and that's where we're right now. This is why we see so many problems in the world, and it's not easy to get an idea what's actually going on right now. We are in a transition. But the beauty is, you are beings of light. You are souls. You're spirits. And the spirit is immortal. We are traveler through time and space. So nothing to be worried. So what we have to do is, we all have to join hands and create a positive energy field. Once we're doing that, we are changing the world. Because we have seen our thoughts and our emotion are connected to the physical reality. Once we become strong in that, we start changing the physical reality. Once we all create the energy of love, all the energy of purity, all an energy field of happiness, all visualize a better world, you know, our intention becomes so strong that it will impact into physical reality. Because mind and matter are interconnected. Science is telling us matter is the dominating, and spirituality and our heart tells us actually that the mind is dominating. That's the truth. We are all creators. We're all masters, but somehow we have forgotten about it. So I have given you lots of information. I have given you information about the dramatic situation of the world where we are in. And then I've walked with you through becoming an angel, becoming a change maker, how our thoughts are impacting into physical reality, what is the Brahma Kumaris doing, yogic farming, about the renewable energy projects. And if you have interest and would like more information, you can go to any of these web pages. Huh? And we will give you also some blessing cards, and we will give you one Yogis for Future bookmark card, so you will get it also. All right. So I know this was a lot to digest and a lot of information. And maybe one of you has a question or wants to comment on something.
And the online people can ask.
Yes, and the online people can also ask a question in the chat box, no? Via the chat function. Yes.
This presentation is possible to get it on the consent.
What we do is we will upload it.
Okay.
And you see, if you go on our webpage, this one, you will get a lot of informations. You will get a lot of informations and talks, conferences, interviews. And I did a TED talk in the university in Malmö. It was a TEDx talk, and that's in YouTube.
Okay.
So if you Google Golo Pilz and TEDx talk in YouTube, you will find me. And it's basically a very similar talk. It's 18 minutes long, but it's with slides and everything. Huh?
One question.
Yes.
So I know something Reiki. You know Reiki?
Pardon?
Reiki meditation. Reiki.
Reiki meditation.
Reiki.
Reiki.
Yeah, Reiki. Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying it why because this yogic is using plantation.
Yes.
This Reiki was used. It's the same or different?
Yeah. See, my sister-in-law, she's a Reiki master. My sister-in-law, she's practicing Reiki, and Reiki has similar elements, you know, where you gather the strength and then you start for healing purpose.
I know I'm the Reiki master.
Ah, very good. So it's a very similar process, no? Very similar. In Raja Yoga, what you do is you connect to the divine being, to the supreme light. And you take the light and the power from above. And that is like a multiplication of your own energy field. You connect to the divine light, to Shiva, you know, to God, to the highest on high, Paramatma, however you want to call him. You connect there and you allow the light slowly to go through your own system. And when the light comes slowly, it removes your own darknesses, your own anxieties, your worries, your negativities. And then once you are open for the light, you let the light pass through.
The same. Experience in the same.
Wonderful. See, we have here very nice thing. You become a lighthouse. You see? I show this, huh? Can you see? Yeah. Okay. You become a lighthouse. Yeah? A lighthouse in the darkness. And many people work on that, on the positive thoughts. Yeah. We're not the only one. The speciality, what is happening here is that we connect to the divine light, you know, in a very specific form. Okay, any more question, or anybody from the online wants to say something? Any more suggestion, question from our Italiano department? Palara, questione, piccolo questione. No?
No, it was a nice presentation.
Okay.
And well, the first part was really depressing.
Yeah, you see now, of course, the news and the world we're living in is very tough right now, because we are in this, we're in that moment when the winter comes and the trees, they're shedding off their leaves. And the leaves are our economic system, our technology system, our belief system, you know, we have to shed it off because the winter comes. But then it's like a hibernation, it's a transformation, and then the new spring comes. And this is the cycle of time we're going through. And if you look at the world and you analyze it, actually you can see that the world has become very unjust. Yeah? And quite a lot of problems, a lot of people are suffering, you know. is not really in a good shape right now. Something should be done, I feel. You know, technology is not very good. We're using it's all burning and blowing up and drilling and crashing and, you know, and so many wars and conflicts going on also in the world, you know, a lot of suffering. So I feel I have mercy with the world, and I feel with love and compassion, we can inspire everybody to connect to his personal inner core, to his personal self, which is I'm a being of light. I'm immortal. I'm a soul. And I can connect to the divine light and take as much light and as much power as I want. And I can recharge myself and I can become a lighthouse. I think this is my personal positive agenda, which I put against what's going on outside, because it's powerful. I travel, I see the world, you know. I was in Glasgow, then before this, and in a couple of months, we're planning to go to Sharm el-Sheikh to the next, in Egypt, to the next climate conference. And I mean, I'm 8 months per year, 7 months per year in India. And in India, also a lot of problems. No? You can see a lot of suffering, many poor people, a lot of stuff going on. So, yes, you have to protect yourself, definitely. You should not get disheartened what happened in the world. All right. Any more question? Comment?
It's not a question, but this is just a comment. Actually, I'm just going through the several videos and then several conversations in Brahma Kumaris, and then I love the idea.
Okay.
And then actually, the problem is our belief system. So we are from might we are from Hindu, might we are from Christian, and it's Muslim, and then very strong belief system, and then there is not much people are convinced into this idea if very strong faith on this, and then so it is a fantastic idea, and then it's growing around the world, and then I love the idea, and then so you have just visited the multiple facts that we need to know, and then we need to break these ideas about the belief system and so on.
Yeah.
And then so it's fantastic idea.
See, I just share it. So this was about, the idea was about our belief systems, especially if you're Hindu or Christian, that is very powerful. And the brother suggested that we have to practice it to overcome it. You're right. You know, I was growing up in Christianity. And so when I came first to India, of course, I had to sort of change my belief system and adapt my belief system and expand my belief system. You know, I have to open up for spirituality in that term. And I had to open up for the idea that what I think, what I feel, that my emotions are very, very important for my own well-being, but also for that of others. And I had to think about the concept of action and reaction. In Christianity, this is as you sow, so you reap. And in India, it's the philosophy of karma, you know. So I had to accept that my actions, I'm responsible for my actions. And as you probably know, we all believe here in Brahma Kumaris in reincarnation. So we are dealing with the karma of many, many births. We're not only dealing with karma of the present time, of this moment, of this little life. We had many lives. Soul is immortal. We're a traveler through time and space. So we carry with us a burden from the past, and it's time to transform it, you know. So I had to accept that responsibility also, and I did it. And yes, and we're all different, and we all are very individual in the way how we connect to the light, in the way how we transform, how we progress. We're all totally individual and totally different. They say there are a million pathways to Rome. And there are a million pathways to God. Maybe, probably there are as many pathways to the light as there are souls on this earth. Everybody is totally individual. You know? Good. Any more suggestion, idea? Anything online? You will see that somewhere if it pops up. Okay. All right. So I would suggest we're doing a meditation. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds
And
good.
Do some practical thing here. And so
Excellent.
maybe you switch on the red light a bit. Okay. And I switch off this light, which is so powerful in my eyes. Yeah. Okay. And I come a bit here. So let us do some meditation. We have heard a lot about the power of our thoughts and about the power of what it will do. And I will speak some 5 minutes, 7 minutes meditation commentary. And you can keep the eyes open or you can keep them closed as you like. So relax yourself and breathe deeply. And relax your shoulders and your stomach. And relax your body. I'm concentrating in my mind, in my head, and I'm relaxing my mind. I have no worries about the past. I have no worries about the future. And I don't worry about climate change or all these things which are hurt. I understand. I am a soul. I am a being of light. And I understand I am a traveler through time and through space. We are in a transition period where this world changes into a different, beautiful planet. My true nature is peace and love. I am loving myself. I'm accepting myself. I am at ease with my situation. I am a beam of light. And I'm connecting to the supreme light, the supreme being. He is my father. He is my mother. He is my friend. He's there. She's there for us. I'm connecting to this ocean of love, to this ocean of peace. I am love and I am peace. I'm now focusing my attention to my friends and my relatives. I'm sending them love and peace. My family, my friends, I send them love and peace. Now I'm changing focus and I connect to the world. I see the climate change. I see the suffering of animals. I see the suffering of nature. I send my love to the planet. And I send my love to nature, to the animals. I'm now focusing on all the conflicts which are going on around the world at the moment. I'm sending peace to all those who are involved. Sending love and peace to all those who are suffering. I'm sending love and peace to all the people who are suffering from climate change or other catastrophes of nature. I understand. I'm watching the great transformation of this world, of this planet. I am a traveler. I'm visualizing the earth, holding the earth in my hands. I'm sending the light, the divine light to this earth. I'm filling the planet with light, with love, with peace, with compassion. I'm healing the earth, and I'm visualizing the earth changing into a beautiful planet. A beautiful planet of harmony, of purity, and of happiness. This is the world I love. This is the future. This is the beginning of the next cycle. And I am a traveler. I am a change maker. I am a lighthouse of peace, a lighthouse of love. This is my true nature. I am peace and I am love and I am light. I can feel the energy field has changed. This is the power of our thoughts. This is the power of our visions. I am a master of my destiny. I am a master from my future. I am an angel. I'm stabilizing myself in this energy. It's very beautiful. It's very healing. I become strong. become unshakable. This is me. Peace and love. Slowly, I'm coming back into this room, into this body. Om Shanti. So, we are coming to the end of our program. And I hope you all experienced the atmosphere, how the atmosphere changed. Did you feel it? Became very beautiful, very peaceful, very loving. This is God's love. And it's our birthright to connect. Yoga means connection. Religion means reconnection. Religio is Latin, means to reconnect. So we reconnect to the divine. And we become divine ourselves. And then we create a divine world. It's very easy and not complicated. I'm very happy. Most are smiling now. It's very good. So Sonia, you want to say something?
No, I just want to say thank you to Golo for the presentation. Maybe we give him a hand. Here and always welcome. Of course, you can see our program internet with positive thinking Saturdays and evening meditation every day. The door is open. And you're welcome to stay behind for some fruit and juice. I'll put a little bit on the table and just go and get some more. So welcome to hang around a bit and have a chit chat with us, with Golo, with each other. Yeah. And maybe Golo, you like to give them some cards.
Yeah.
And I'll go and cut the fruit.
And some maybe.
And also want to say thank you to the online people for participation.
Yes.
And, being there. Yes.
I hope all worked out.
Yes, it did.
And Sonia, okay.
Yeah.
So everybody can take one card.
Yeah, the yogis for future